Sean Diddy Combs, we've been talking about this, pleaded not guilty in federal court today.
He is charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Combs reportedly offered $50 million for bail. Federal prosecutors argued he shouldn't be released. Ultimately, the judge agreed, refusing to grant bail and sent Combs to jail while he awaits trial. Diddy is fighting 5 lawsuits and 3 sexual misconduct cases, too. He maintains he is innocent in all the cases. Prosecutors say the details of the criminal case are disturbing.
As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse.
Now, TMZ has been covering this story very closely. Michael Babcock is joining us now to talk about what they know as they have been following this story. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Sylvia. Hey, Terrence. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's just get right to it. How's Diddy reacting to everything that's going on right now? What have you guys heard?
Well, his attorney says he's in good spirits, but let's be honest here. Diddy's life is on the line. I mean, you were talking about incredibly serious federal charges, one of them being sex trafficking that could quite literally carry a life sentence in prison. So, again, while his attorney says Diddy is happy to be in this position because it's going to afford him the opportunity to, they say, to clear his name, he is sitting in a jail cell right now. He could be sitting in a jail cell for the foreseeable future, and like we just said, could be facing decades or more in prison if ultimately convicted. The attorney says that he's an imperfect person, like we all are, but that he's not a criminal, that he's not a violent person, and that he will prove his innocence ultimately in this courtroom.
This is all over social media right now. I'm curious, have any of his alleged victims spoken out since his arrest or his day in court today?
Yeah, a lot of people have spoken out, and people who have, in Aubrey O'Day's case, Terrence, been somebody who has for years spoken out when it wasn't the thing to do, and when going against someone as powerful as Diddy, as a member of the music industry, was very detrimental to somebody's career. So Aubrey O'Day has came out and said, I feel validated today. I think you've got to look at Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who we saw, for as much as Diddy's attorney wants to say he's not a criminal, she was brutalized in that surveillance videotape from March 2016 at that LA hotel. For somebody like that, who had the courage to file this civil lawsuit against Diddy a couple months back, you've got to feel that there is an incredible sense of relief amongst those people today, as finally they feel like this guy who has run amok for more than a decade here now, violating people from coast to coast, has finally been held to account.
Well, let's talk about that, because the rumors have been going strong for some time now. And I know as you guys have looked into this story, you probably have heard things that, weren't reported necessarily recently or weren't being reported at the time that you learned about these things. So this doesn't necessarily come as a surprise to a lot of people, but what's been the general reaction, and what have you guys learned historically about what his reputation has been?
Yeah, I would say it's a surprise, and it's not at the same time. Look, the federal government put an immense amount of resources, time, effort into this investigation, raiding his house in Beverly Hills, raiding the house in Miami. And you felt like they would not have gone through all that if they did not feel like there was a real case to be made here and they could ultimately get a conviction. So you felt like he was going to get arrested and face charges at some point. You just didn't know when. And when the feds then show up at his hotel room door yesterday and take him into custody, it's surprising. I mean, he is, and obviously, as we all know, he's been one of the most influential people in all of music and celebrities for decades, going back to the 90s. But you've got, at the end of the day here, somebody who is a multimillionaire, who runs a business empire, who the feds have said ran these crazy parties where he plied people with alcohol and hard drugs and had them do things on camera that he could then use to keep them in line, threaten them with physical violence, or either promise them benefits to their career, all to keep people in line while he, again, essentially had these parties that just were a violation to the people who attended them. And it's almost incredible to think just that we have watched this person for so long be so successful and be just one of the most beloved celebrities out there, and the federal government says that for more than a decade now, he's been running a racket.
Like I said, we've been hearing from Aubrey O'Day, the former member of Diddy Combs. Interested and curious to see who else speaks out today. Mike, thanks for joining us, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me.